All right, welcome everyone to the Cluster API AWS Infrastructure Provider Office Hours. This is Monday, March the 6th, 2023. As always, this meeting is part of the Kubernetes SIGs, and we abide by the CNCF Code of Conduct. In short, be excellent to one another in the meeting and otherwise. And yeah, welcome. I will mute myself for a moment. Anyone that is new or just hasn't been around, or if you would like to introduce yourselves, feel free to do so, but you're not obligated to, but this is just an opportunity. So let me do that right now. Okay, didn't hear anyone. But yeah, if you would like to introduce yourself, just feel free to raise your hand if you'd like. Speaking of raising your hand, yeah, we can use the raise hand feature in Zoom to avoid talking over one another and make sure everybody gets a chance to speak. And then if you would please add yourself to this list in our office hours doc. I didn't share that in the chat. Richard, if you would be so kind, could you share the link to this doc in the chat? It's also in the invite. Yeah, I guess without further ado, let's get to the agenda, or first the PSAs. Richard, did you put this on there?
What the PSA? I did, yes. Sorry, I should put my name there. Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, so this is just to let everyone know that we have re-enabled the release notes plugin on Prowl. What this basically means is when you now create a new PR, in the PR template, there's going to be a release notes sort of code block at the bottom of the PR, and it's required that you take some action. There are comments around that. So the actions you can take are saying there's no release note required, and in which case you put none. You can just type in freeform text if you want something specific to appear in the release notes for this change in when we do a release of Kappa. And then you can also tag your release note as saying action required. And what this basically means is, if there's breaking changes or changes that require users to be aware of something really, really important, or for them to take action, you can actually flag this so that when we generate the release notes, it will be right at the top and, in big bold letters saying, hey, you must be aware of this and make these changes or read this or do whatever. So we did have this enabled for a long time. Then we changed our release process to use the GitHub release notes generation. But what we lost in that process was that ability to flag a change as requiring action, and highlighting something to the user. We never found a suitable alternative. So after lots of discussion, we decided to go back to the Prowl. And that's I guess the Kubernetes project way of flagging release notes and action items. So yeah, you'll see it when you create a PR. Thank you.
Thanks, Richard. For the action required, is that a label?
No, it's actually when you do the release note, in the release note block, if you actually, I think, put the text action required on the first line, it understands that and says, oh, this is important. And it will actually label the PR eventually as well.
I see. Okay, thanks. All right. All right, PSAs, and now to the action items. So we've got how can we increase the verbosity of CAPI logs from the E to E? I guess that would be referring to the tests. That's an interesting question. I'm not sure who asked that. Is this? Yeah, go ahead.
That was, I guess, a result of the discussion in the meeting 2 weeks ago, when we were just trying to work out what was happening with our end-to-end tests. I don't think anyone has done this, if I'm honest, but the necessity sort of disappeared when we worked out what was gone wrong with the end-to-end test. But I think probably we should still take this as an action item if we can.
Okay. Do we need to reach out to anyone? The E to E config, is that a prow? We're talking about a prow configuration, or just our internal?
Just our internal. So we have, well, most CAPI projects have this E2E config file with various variables, etc. So for our provider, we can specify a variable which is like the log level, kappa underscore log level, and we can increase that verbosity, which is handy for tests. So yeah, I'm just wondering if there is something equivalent upstream in CAPI.
Oh, I see. So you're not asking about, sorry, not Kappa. This is Cappy specifically. Um, I see. Okay, so maybe it's. I see. Right. So we're running Cappy alongside Kappa. But then I guess the question is, how do we plumb in verbosity to the various Cappy controllers? I guess that would be
Yeah.
KCP. Okay. Yeah. Soups. Okay. Or KCP, medium. Okay. Okay. Do we have an issue for this? Do we need one, or we'll just try?
Good question. I guess someone needs to take it as an action item to, I guess, investigate whether it's possible first, and then if not, create an issue upstream.
Okay.
I don't mind taking that as a action item.
Okay. Yeah, I think yeah. Otherwise, I can take it. I mean, my plan would just be ask. Or, yeah, I guess look at the configuration first, and then maybe ask in Cappy Slack. So, um, do you,
Yeah, it's up to you. I'm good with either or.
okay. I this week is a little so I might get behind on this. So if you think you're able, then probably
Yeah.
better if you take it. But
Yeah, cool.
okay. Create. All right. Next item. Create a completely fresh account and test. Is this following the account migration?
Yeah, it is, and all those red E2E tests. Yeah. So yeah, Gogay's not here, so I can give an update for posterity maybe on the video. So after a lot of investigation, Gogay found that in our end-to-end tests, we had managed to create was it an IAM role or policy, one of the two, without a name. somehow maybe it crashed halfway through or for whatever reason, and there's a bug in the AWS SDK, so you can't then delete it if it doesn't have a name. So this only occurred because these were new AWS accounts after the migration, and we weren't able to delete them. So we had to chat to someone in the Kubernetes, test infra, the people that did the account migration, and they deleted the account for us. And then after that, a lot of the end-to-end tests became a lot more happy because it was only occurring when we were handed a specific AWS account to run the end-to-end tests on. All the other AWS accounts seemed to work. So that's how that's how GoGo got to the bottom of that.
And who deleted that for us? We asked. Who did we ask?
So someone actually in this.
Oh, I'm sorry. Not a specific name. I just what's the role or the?
Oh, so the channel is Sig Kate's Infra, and that's basically the people that look after all the infrastructure that's required to run the Kubernetes project.
Okay. Okay. Thank you for that update. All right. You've got the next 2 items. Go for it.
Sorry, I did a bit of a brain dump of things that should be mentioned. So next one is Luther. He has been proposed to become a reviewer within the project. He's been doing a whole bunch of work lately around different areas, and is quite active in reviewing things as well and giving opinions. So yeah, it's been proposed that he become a reviewer. Whether you have thoughts on that, I guess, is to comment on that issue. The PR, it's not an issue, is it? And I think we're going for a lazy consensus at some point this week. So I guess the main thing is if you disagree, is to raise any concerns. Otherwise, it will be merged this week.
All right. Thanks. That's great news, actually. And then LFX mentorship.
Yeah, so there was quite there was a large amount of applicants for the LFX mentorship program that should be starting this week. So we did make a selection at the end of last week, so that is going through the process, and we aim to start this week. And I guess just also if because there was a lot of applicants, if anyone missed out and would like specific feedback as to potentially why they weren't selected, feel free to ping me on Slack. But then I would also encourage people to, if they weren't selected, to also try again for one of the other programs. There's a summer program coming up as well after this one, and there's also the individual mentorship that's just not within a specific program as well. But hopefully by the end of this mentorship, our pain with CloudFormation stacks and the issues that causes us should hopefully be gone, and we'll be in a far better place as regards to all of those prerequisites that are required to run Kappa. It's exciting.
Yeah, moving away from CloudFormation, right?
Yeah, it'd be fantastic, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Okay. I don't see any other items on the agenda. I guess we can wrap up this part of the meeting. I can stop recording and we can do the bug triage if there are any takers for that today?
Yeah, I don't mind doing a bit of bug triage.
Okay. Just one last chance. Anybody have another agenda item? All right. Thanks, everybody. All right, so I'll wrap up the recording. Uh, uh,